We all love getting a good meal. And be it at a fancy 5-star restaurant or a diner on the side of the highway, there are many restaurants that can give us an incredible culinary experience. However, there are some restaurants that are a step above the rest. Today, we're going to take a look at the top 15 most amazing restaurants. Number 15. Ithaa Restaurant. While eating at a restaurant by the beach offers diners an amazing ambiance, Ithaa Restaurant takes things a few steps further by allowing diners to eat underwater. Built on a private island in the Maldives, this restaurant was opened in April of 2005 and is located 5 meters below sea level. The restaurant is essentially a curved tank that offers a 270-degree panoramic underwater view, and as they dine, customers can gaze at scenic coral gardens and marine animals drifting by. Now, we must warn you that getting a reservation here is nearly impossible, as the restaurant seats just 14 people and requires reservations to be made well in advance. However, when you consider that its food and ambiance helped it to win the Global Restaurant of the Year award in 2017, we'd say that trying to get a table here may just be worth the effort. Number 14. Au Noir. While most of the restaurants on this list will feature a beautiful ambiance, Au Noir goes against the grain by taking this all away. Located in both Montreal and Toronto, Au Noir is a restaurant that shuts off the lights and makes diners eat in the dark. Now, the idea behind this is twofold. The first is one's sense of touch, hearing, taste, and smell are amplified, thus allowing them to better enjoy the food in front of them. Yet the second is that after only 1 or 2 hours in complete darkness, customers gain a better understanding of what it's like to be blind. This is crucial because it helps them relate better to the restaurant's waitstaff, all of whom are visually impaired. As such, eating at this restaurant is truly a unique sensual experience. Number 13. The Bird's Nest Restaurant. When it comes to treetop dining, there are few establishments that come anywhere close to the Bird's Nest Restaurant. Located in Soniva Kiri Eco Resort, the restaurant is essentially in the shape of a massive bird nest. Consisting of just one table, it sits about 5 meters above the ground. Its open-air design gives patrons impressive views of the surrounding beach, and it's known for having exceptionally tasty food. However, given that the cooking up in the treetops would not be advisable, the restaurant instead made the decision to have all the food and drinks made at ground level, and when completed, the dishes are then delivered to diners via a zip line. So if you want a truly one-of-a-kind experience, then the Bird's Nest Restaurant is the place to be. Number 12. Robot Restaurant. Now, we know you've probably heard that robots are the technology of the future many times before. However, in Japan, life-size robots really are a thing of the present. That's because in the capital city of Tokyo, you can visit Robot Restaurant, which stands apart due to it offering a truly crazy experience. After all, not only are you served by robots, but perhaps more impressively, you get to experience a sensory overload of acrobats, dancers, musicians, and massive machines dancing and singing in a multicolored, shining, and loud environment. And while this attraction may seem a little strange to many, it certainly is a must-see next time you're in Japan. Number 11. Keramas Aero Park. For most people, dining on board an airplane is an uncomfortable affair. After all, be it the bad food, long wait times, or lack of elbow room, there are many things that work against your dining experience. However, the owners of Keramas Aero Park have tried to shake that narrative by making dining on a plane a 5-star experience. Located on the island of Bali in Indonesia, the restaurant is made out of the shell of a decommissioned Boeing 737 series airplane. Now, passengers first begin their experience by receiving a boarding pass and are then ushered aboard the plane. Yet rather than have crammed seats, the plane instead has tables spaced well apart from each other, making a lack of legroom a thing of the past. From there, the diners can feast on cuisine from around the world, and once done can even pose for pictures either in the cockpit or on the wings. As such, if you're an aviation aficionado, then the Keramas Aero Park is a must-see. Number 10. Ultraviolet Restaurant. Generally speaking, going to a restaurant is pretty easy. After all you have to do is jump in your car, punch the address on Google Maps, and drive over. However, at Shanghai's Ultraviolet Restaurant, the travel process isn't so easy. Opened in 2012 by French chef Paul Perret, a conscious decision was made to make this restaurant difficult to find. That's because rather than publish their location, Ultraviolet Restaurant keeps their address top secret. How do they do this? Well, it turns out that the diners are first instructed to enter a shuttle bus, and this bus then discreetly brings them to the restaurant's hidden location. From there, they file into a bunker that features a 10-person table and a whole set of screens and speakers. It is at this point that the magic begins. You see, each course is hand-selected by the chef and has a set of visual, auditory, and sensory aids that go along with it. And be it in intense heart-raising music or soft, cool colors, these changes in ambience are designed to make each dish taste exceptionally good. These intense feelings are spread across 20 different courses, with Ultraviolet's team of over 20 waitstaff and production crew members controlling every minute. So unless you're willing to fork over between $600 and $900 just for one meal, then you may have to look elsewhere. Number 9. The Poop Cafe. While food and bathrooms aren't two things that typically mix, Toronto's Poop Cafe is an exception to the rule. That's because this washroom-themed restaurant takes the poop emoji to a whole new level. Located in the city's Koreatown neighborhood, when customers come in, they first have to find a seat at one of the many toilet bowls on location. From there, they can pick a dish from a dessert menu, with each sweet treat being served in a miniature toilet bowl. To top this off, the cafe has a variety of washroom-themed touches, with these including bathroom jokes on the walls, plunger-shaped lights on the ceilings, and a sweets table shaped like a massive toilet bowl. Yet it should be noted that this idea isn't new, as Poop Cafe owner Lien Wen first got the idea after vacationing in Taiwan and visiting a toilet bowl cafe there. The experience was so great that it prompted her to make one in Toronto, and because of this type of themed restaurant was so foreign in the West, it attracted a lot of attention. However, given that the reviews of the restaurant are pretty mediocre, we'd say that she may have to fix the shitty food if she doesn't want the restaurant's financials to continue to get flushed down the toilet.
We're constantly adding more people to the Top 5's production team to bring you all the best content. Be sure to subscribe with notifications on and hit the like button.
Number 8. In Galera. Generally speaking, most people try to stay far away from prison. However, if you decide to take a trip out to Milan's In Galera restaurant, then you can be fed by a group of men currently serving time behind bars. Located at the city's Bolate prison, with the exception of the head waiter and head chef, the restaurant is entirely staffed by inmates. The idea behind the restaurant is for prisoners to learn culinary and customer service skills that they can then take with them outside of prison. And this is amplified by the fact that the restaurant is a fine dining establishment. Now, this initiative is possible because Bolate Prison is currently the only open-cell prison in all of Italy, as it's one of the few in the world where inmates are allowed to freely move around and are encouraged to join work-release programs. Interestingly enough, it turns out that the Bolate Prison's efforts really are a force for good, as studies have shown that initiatives such as the restaurant have allowed the prison's recidivism rates to be far lower than the national average. Thus, as In Galera continues to grow in popularity, the hope is that other prisons will see this model and hopefully decide to implement it. Number 7. Trabocco. If you happen to like seafood and Italian cuisine, then you can't go wrong with taking a trip to Italy's Trabocchi coast. Located along the Adriatic Sea in the province of Chieti, the region is famous for its vast amounts of trabocchi. In essence, there are complex fishing platforms that work by using an array of wide nets to intercept the schools of fish traversing the rocky outcrops along the coast. And while in the olden days these fish would have been collected and sold at a seafood market, more recently many trabocco owners have decided to convert their fishing platforms into full-out restaurants. These restaurants operate by first catching a wide array of fish during the day. These fish are then served to diners, who typically get to feast on a multiple-course meal, consisting of practically every type of fish in the area. While eating, diners are able to sit on the trabocco itself, thus giving them a beautiful view of the sea as they eat. However, we must warn you that seating at these restaurants is often quite limited, and you may need to wait for months in order to get a reservation. So if you plan on visiting this part of Italy in the upcoming months, it would be advisable to book a reservation well in advance. Number 6. The Rock. While Zanzibar may not be a vacation destination that's on most people's radars, the Rock may just make a flight out to the country worth the trip. That's because this restaurant is one of the few in the world that's not accessible by land. Built 4 years ago on a former fisherman's post, this luxurious seafood restaurant is fully surrounded by water at high tide. As such, it can only be accessed by either swimming to the island or getting paddled over in a boat. Once there, you're seated at one of 12 tables in a building made in the local Zanzibar architectural style. This makes for a beautiful dining experience. However, keep in mind that it's pretty pricey. After all, a 2-person meal with a starter, main course, and 2 cocktails will run you about $90. However, given the beauty of the restaurant, we'd say that the higher than average price is certainly worth it. Number 5. Caverns Grotto. If you like a dining experience like no other, then you may want to visit Caverns Grotto in Peach Springs, Arizona. That's because the establishment takes deep flavor to a whole new level by serving its dishes 61 meters underground. Now, the restaurant is located in a 345-year-old underground cavern and has been known to be the site of several prehistoric fossils. And while the cavern may be part of the United States' largest dry cavern system, the restaurant itself is not all that grandiose, as it serves up classic and American-style food to the patrons sitting at its 4 tables. Interestingly enough, the Caverns Grotto also gives a nod to its Gold Rush-era roots by making its food go through a rather interesting transportation process. That's because while all the dishes are cooked at ground level, the food takes an elevator down to the cave before being hoisted 7.5 meters into the air on a pulley system to the raised dining room platform. Unsurprisingly, diners often report the auditory and visual experience of eating in a massive cave is like no other, and some even opt to stay the night by sleeping at the Grand Canyon Caverns Cave Suite, which is a hotel room located 67 meters below surface level and is widely advertised as being the largest, deepest, darkest, oldest, quietest motel room in the world. So if you enjoy being within the depths of the earth for extended periods of time, then you may want to give the Caverns Grotto a visit. Number 4. Sublimotion. Ibiza is widely considered to be one of the best places in Europe to party. Yet when the restaurant Sublimotion first opened in 2014, the island's reputation truly went through the roof. That's because as far as dining experiences go, there are few restaurants in the world that come anywhere close to Sublimotion. On the surface, the restaurant offers a fine dining experience, as its menu consists of a 20-course dinner that's spread across 3 hours. This is served by staff consisting of 25 professional waiters and is cooked by 2-star Michelin chef Paco Ranchero. Yet what really makes Sublimotion special is its incredible entertainment value. Every dish on the menu is meant to be complemented by a different set of visual elements. As such, the restaurant has been outfitted with several virtual reality elements in order to heighten your senses. And be it laser light shows, projection mapping in the room, or different animations swerving on the tables, you can be sure that your taste buds will come alive in the whole room. The ambience also changes throughout, as the scenes in the room switch between places such as the bottom of the ocean, a sexy 20th century cabaret, and a futuristic dinner with friends in 2050. Best of all, in order to complete the experience, diners are handed a Samsung Gear virtual reality headset that immerses them in the mind-blowing fantasy world. As such, it's clear that dining here is an experience truly like no other. Unfortunately, though, the chances of you eating here are pretty slim. That's because the restaurant has just 1 table with 12 seats, meaning that getting a spot at this exclusive table is extremely tricky. To make matters worse, Sublimotion is only open from June 1st to September 30th, making it very hard to get a reservation. Thus, when you further consider that it costs about $2,000 for just 1 meal, it becomes clear that this restaurant is not accessible to most. Number 3. The Heart Attack Grill. Out of all the fast food places in America, none are quite as notorious as the Heart Attack Grill. Opened in 2006 in Las Vegas, Nevada, owner and on-site chief surgeon, John Basso, actually created the restaurant as a massive publicity stunt. That's because rather than follow the trend of creating a restaurant that served up healthy food, John decided to do the exact opposite by telling people things like, "Don't come here every day of the week, it'll kill you," and that the food has a taste worth dying for. John was able to take what he proposed in his marketing thesis in school and turn it into a national sensation overnight. Now, the reason why the restaurant is so famous is that it truly lives up to its name. When customers come in, they're dressed in hospital gowns by a team of waitresses dressed like nurses, and then they're weighed on a scale. And if they come in at over 350 pounds, they get to eat free. From there, they are then seated and can choose between a wide array of massive burger and fries options. The largest offering available is the Octuple Bypass Burger, which consists of 8 4-ounce patties and comes in at an incredible 19,900 calories. This is then complemented by all-you-can-eat fries, buttermilk fat milkshakes, and even unfiltered cigarettes. Interestingly enough, if customers opt to not finish their food, they are then smacked with a paddle. However, if a customer is able to finish a burger that's classed as a triple bypass or higher, they actually get personally pushed out to their vehicle in a wheelchair. Thus, while the food is far from healthy, the restaurant has gained quite the reputation over the years. Now, it shouldn't come as a surprise that this restaurant also has caught a lot of flack, And be it patrons dying while hammering down burgers or complaints that the nurses are dressed in skimpy outfits, the Heart Attack Grill has received plenty of negative press over the years. Yet despite the hate, the restaurant continues to attract patrons, despite the owner telling people not to eat there. Therefore, while the restaurant may be unhealthy, at least it doesn't try to hide the fact that it's killing its patrons. Number 2. Triyagyoni Restaurant. If you happen to live in a big city such as New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, or London, then chances are you've seen your fair share of pop-up restaurants. Yet in 2018, the owners of Tibet's Triyagyoni Restaurant made a name for themselves by creating a pop-up restaurant on the face of a mountain. Located at an altitude of 5,585 meters on Mount Everest's Island Peak area, it's officially the world's highest altitude pop-up restaurant. Operated by Indian chef Sanjay Thakur and his team, the restaurant's name means organic nature in Sanskrit, and as you might imagine, it's not easily accessible. As of now, potential diners have to make a quick trek to make it to Triyagyoni, as they must choose between going on a helicopter journey or a mountainous trek, both of which take between 4 to 9 days. Yet once you arrive at Triyagyoni, you can expect not just amazing mountain views, but also a feast fit for a king. That's because diners at the restaurant are treated to an 8-course meal, with the dishes including shishino garlic, Himalayan rolls, dablat, fish salad, chicken, panna cotta produced with nut milk, basa fillets, and a cheese platter. In order to keep the restaurant running, the chefs rely on appliances powered by solar energy and must work inside of a tent in order to combat the windy conditions. According to its founders, the aim behind Triyagyoni was to raise awareness to the sustainability of the Himalayas' resources, and it hammers this message home, not just through its existence, but through its use of several foraged ingredients. Yet at an all-in cost of about $5,600 for a package that includes flights, accommodations, and meals, this dining experience isn't for those who lack deep pockets. Number 1. Thermopolia. While most modern fast food joints have amenities such as drive-thrus, ice cream machines, deep fryers, and cash registers, the Thermopolia of ancient Rome and ancient Greece were just a tad bit different. Found throughout ancient cities and towns, the word thermopolium literally translates to a place where something hot is sold, and they truly delivered nothing less. They were typically small storefronts featuring stone counters embedded with terracotta jars, making them quite similar to modern hot tables. These hot tables would be filled with all sorts of foods, with some of the most common dishes being roasted nuts, soups, pickles, eggs, ham, wine, and a sort of tomato-free pizza made with cheese and onions. Generally speaking, there were 2 types of people who frequented Thermopolia. The first were the rich, who much like those going through a drive-thru would quickly pick up a meal as a snack. However, the majority of Thermopolia users were in fact the urban poor. This is because the majority of poor workers didn't have enough money to afford a private kitchen at home, and instead found it cheaper to simply purchase their meals from a thermopolium. As such, with so many customers at the ready, we would assume that thermopolium owners probably made some pretty astounding profits. Now, if you'd like to see a thermopolium for yourself, there are in fact several that have been very well preserved, and be it in Pompeii, Herculaneum, or Ostia, there are several spots that have well-preserved examples of these incredible restaurants. Thus, next time you happen to be in Italy or Greece, we suggest seeking them out.
Watch our binge-watching playlist if you'd like to watch all of our most popular top 15 videos. Grab a drink, grab a snack, and get ready to binge.